Hey guys, I've been known as an enabler because when I really like something, I tend to become an ambassador of it. And this is a machine that I have really grown to love in the short time that I've had it. This is the Knitmaster ES302. And here is the carriage. It says Knitmaster ES302 on it. I live in the United States, but I purchased this machine on eBay and it was shipped to me from the UK. It arrived in pretty good condition, very clean, very usable, no damage, except the cover on this machine was dented. But that's just cosmetic. All in all, the machine is in excellent condition. I changed the sponge bar. It has just about all of the accessories that came with the machine. And it did not have the pattern cards. However, a lovely young woman from the Machine Knitting Beginners Circle group here on Facebook was sweet enough to send me some cards that she had. She had extra sets, so she sent them to me. So now I have pattern cards for the machine. I just want to tell you a little bit about the way this machine works. Basically, it uses pattern cards. It is an 8-stitch repeat machine, meaning that it patterns up to 8 stitches in variation. So, believe it or not, that 8 stitches can turn into countless patterns because of these knobs here and the way that the machine can vary those 8 stitches. So as you see here, I have the machine set for this particular pattern where you have 2 out of work, and then 1, 2 in work, 2 out of work, 2 in work. And that's just the first row of the knitting on this tuck stitch that I'm doing. These knobs here control the direction on which side it's going to be patterning, the left or the right. These 2 knobs here control what needle starts the pattern. So the second needle is going to start patterning here. Here, if I have it set, the 8th needle is going to start patterning. I'm not quite sure what it means when I do the 2 together. I'm still trying to figure that out. But all you need to do with this machine is to follow the pattern card. So right now, as you see on this card, you have actually 4 different patterns. You have 2 in the front. That's like a Fair Owl 2-color pattern. And on the back, you have your tucks. So I'm doing, let's see if I can hold this card up. I am doing pattern number 74. So right there. And so to do this pattern, I have to take the first knob and put it on 2 to the left. Second knob goes on 8. Third knob goes on 2. The cam lever on my carriage goes to knit in, and that would be here. Oops. Did I push all the way over? Sorry, hard to do with one hand. Goes to knit in. The buttons, the left button is pressed, number 2, and the right button, number 2, is pressed. So you can see I have that there. Left number 2, right number 2. And then the pattern lever, which is actually back here behind the carriage, goes on the dot. And that is right there. And then finally, it tells me how many rows and what direction I start in. Over here. So for this pattern, I'm going to go from right to left and then left to right. Now, I just need to take a look and see where I ended off. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I see I just did 2 rows of stockinette. So that means I just did the 4th row of my pattern where I end up doing just the stockinette. So I'm going to take you through doing another set. So this pattern has 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, and they are numbered and tell you what order. So I'm going to go through this pattern, and I've actually memorized it. Most of these patterns are very easy to remember, and you can just say it to yourself in your head, and you can actually knit very quickly. I've done all of this with interruptions in about 10 minutes. My husband had surgery today on his shoulder, and I've been playing nurse, so I've been running up and down the stairs, but in 10 minutes I managed to get that done with a lot of interruptions from him. So before I get started on that fourth step, I just want to give you another look at the machine. So here you have 8 different needle positions for patterns, and this little graph or chart here corresponds to this knob and this knob. This is 1 through 4, and then this is 5 through 8. And then it also shows you here what needle position you're on, which is really nice, because when you knit, the needles get selected, but they don't get selected visibly like with a brother machine. You bring the carriage across on a brother and it shows you the needle selection. Whereas with Studio, Singer, and these Knitmaster machines, they don't do that. It selects the needles while the carriage is passing, so you don't really get to see the needle positioning or the pattern that the needles are going to make until after you're done knitting. So this is nice to know. You can see exactly how the needles are going to be positioned. The carriage on this, I love it. I love the look of this machine. It's actually a very small machine, very, very tiny. It is narrow in the bed from here to here. It's a lot narrower than my other machine. Don't look at my junky roll, but here's my Brother 950. You can see that this bed is a lot wider. This is a computer hack that I have on this machine that allows me to knit different pictures and images. So, but ignore that for now. This is a lot wider here. And then on this machine, you can see just how narrow it is. It's very small. The carriage is super, super light. I love the chrome finish. These buttons here, the number 2 buttons. So by default, when these are off, that means this carriage will not knit stitches that are in hold. But when you press these number 2 buttons down, they will actually knit the stitches that are in hold. So that's also kind of cool. You have your stitch size dial right there. You have stockinette, and you have left and right stockinette, so you can actually turn off stockinette. So it will knit stockinette stitch to the left, and then not knit to the right, or vice versa. Your pick is basically your tuck, and your knit-in is your ferrule. And that's basically it. It can hold 2 colors. I haven't done it with the 2 colors. All the videos that I've seen, people will take the one color out and put another color in. So I'm not sure if actually I can put a second color in here and it will knit it. I'll test that out at some point. But right now I'm having so much fun with this machine. These levers here on the side, when you engage these levers, the machine will pattern. If you do not push these levers back towards the machine, it will not pattern. So that's what these are for. And that's pretty much it. Just taking a look at the machine. But let me go ahead, like I said, and do the first row, and I have committed it to memory. The first row is 2 to the left, number 8, 2, the knit in, and then as you can see here, all of these steps here, or all of these things here just repeat themselves, so I don't have to move these over once they're set. That's what these are for, to show you it's going to be the same thing in those positions. I just remember 2 to the left, 8, 2, knit in, and then the next row is going to be 0 dot, everything else is the same, and then it's going to be 2 to the right, 8, everything else is the same, and the last one, all I'm going to do is change this to stockinette. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that while I hold the camera. So I apologize if it's a little wobbly. Okay, so 2 to the left, 8, number 2. I got these 2 buttons pressed on the side. Like I mentioned, they're not going to change. This is going to be in knit in, and that little lever in the back is going to stay the way it is. So I'm going to do 2 rows, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Another thing about this machine, the carriage is super light, very easy to push. and it's got nice click sounds at the end of each row. Okay, so that was the first one. The next one is going to be 0, dot, and as you can see, everything else is going to remain the same on order 2. To the left, to the right. After that, we got 2 to the right, 8, and everything else is the same. So we're going to change this 2 to the right, 8. Everything else is the same. You can see how it's tucking there. And then our final row is going to be stockinette only. So all I need to do is change that to stockinette. And we just completed this whole row of text right there. All done, just that fast. With just changing a few knobs. Okay, and again, a lot of the pattern repeats itself. So it's super easy to get that done. And this is exactly what that looks like. Just like the card. Hold it this way. Just like the card. What I really think is special about this machine is not just the looks and the size and how well it knits, but it gives you a really nice hand knit look. I know with some of my other machines, the knitting is just so perfect that it looks machine knit. But with this machine, for some reason, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it doesn't look like perfect knitting, like it came off a machine. It really does have a nice hand knit look and feel to it. I just happen to love that counter. Look at that, it's beautiful. So my new favorite find, and I do want to thank the ladies in the machining, knitting, beginner circle group, because there was a post recently about someone who got this machine and people were chiming in about how great it was, and I said, you know what, I might like to have one. So my daughter actually found one online and bought it for me, and here I am, and I'm totally in love with this machine, and I'm looking for a ribber. So if anyone knows of a ribber available for this machine, I would love to get it. But I highly recommend this machine. It is a gem of a machine. There are just so many patterns that you can make, and actually I'm going to just show you a few of those pattern cards right now really quickly. Let me put this down for a sec. Sorry, not much for you to look at right now, but I'm just going to pull a few out just so you can get an idea of what's available if you decide to find this machine and grab it. They are really, really reasonable when you find them online. I know in the UK, they're basically giving these things away. And I only paid $65 for this machine from the UK. And that was the most expensive one that I've seen. It was 50 pounds that I paid, which with the equivalent in US dollars was like $65, and then the shipping was about $35. So I spent about $100 to have it shipped to me, and I don't regret it at all. So just here, quickly flipping through, so you can see some of the patterns. And again, on the front of the cards, it's the multicolor. You can see they'll have tabs on the top. Although this is only 24 cards, you get 93 different patterns, because each card has 4, and on a couple of them it only has 2, but 2 patterns. Still 94 different. And then you can even take these and you can, I love this one, you can, these two, you can actually do variations of these. You don't have to follow the pattern exactly. You can fool around with the buttons and see what you come up with. You might come up with something completely different. Look at that. Gorgeous. Okay, those are the 2 colors, and then I'm just going to show you quickly the tuck on the back of these. Really nice tuck stitch. These would be great for blankets. I'm making some hats right now. I'll be making some leg warmers out of these. Pillows. Sweaters. And since I don't have a ribbon, I've been doing a lot with the tuck stitch. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Just wanted to share my excitement about this machine with you guys. And to let you know that these 8-button machines, this is not the only one available. There are some 8-button machines that are all push buttons, and you just select a button to select patterning for the needles, needle position rather. I call it needle patterning. It's actually needle position. But don't disregard these machines. They've been around for a long time. They only have an 8-stitch pattern repeat, but you can do so many beautiful things on these machines. They are workhorses, and it's okay to make one of these your first machine. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Very good prices on these machines, and they work beautifully. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Happy knitting. Bye.